practicing firing, loading and firing their cannon. Having fired the cannon, they will stop the touch hole. They will block that to stop any more air coming in. They will then put a wet rammer down the end to extinguish any flames. They will then put down a dry rammer to make sure it is dry so that they can load it with a fresh charge. They'll put a charge down it. Having done that and pushed it home, you'll see that the trained gun crew are now facing opposite directions with their hands over their ears, ready to fire. Gun Captain Joe will then give the command. And then they would their drill. Now, 99% of the soldiers that fought in the American Civil War had no pre-war experience. They were civilians and volunteers, certainly for the first 12 months of the war. That meant they had, as I say, smooth war, the 1842 Springfield. But they looked for better weaponry, and they looked across the ocean to Europe, where wars had been fought, like the Crimean War, the Franco-Austrian War, and they noticed that rifles were being used to increasingly devastating effect. And so, ladies and gentlemen, what would the army commanders and the war departments in the north and south want to do? They would want to order the Gucci pieces of kit that they could get their hands on. And here in Britain, we made them. The Enfield Works, the Patton Enfield 1853, was the best that was around at that time. And ladies and gentlemen, Britain, we were an equal opportunities exporter. We sold 750,000 of these. So maintain a continuous rate of fire. Now imagine a line of troops, 100 soldiers, firing along that line, and it would effectively put continuous fire on an enemy who's either static or moving away or towards you. And that would be quite effective. It would mean that there's less suppression by your neighbours when you're trying to fire. By suppression, I mean that when somebody next to you fires, it tends to impact upon how you fire, where you're firing, or the accuracy of the weapon itself. Now you'll notice that we have NCOs. The NCOs can be spotted by the chevrons or stripes on their sleeves. Now they're very important. So the command load is given. Now you'll notice that the different cannoneers are actually operating without being given individual instructions. The rammer's gone down. Now a charge, you can see, is being placed. Now it's being rammed home. That's been pricked there. So now we have a misfire, ladies and gentlemen. And because we've had a misfire, you can see that the cannon team are placing their rammers in a position to indicate that, so that others in the area would be aware. They are now pricking it again, making sure, getting ready to fire. And away we go. Now that was quite common, ladies and gentlemen.